This is a video on cleaning a KML 250 or a KML 450 Hoshizaki ice machine. First, we want to remove everything that we can possibly take off of the machine. I'm going to take off the diverter cups on top, spray tubes, fill tube, hose from the water pump up to the distribution tube. We've taken the water pump out. In this case, we've taken the platform out. Sometimes the platform will be unable to be removed, but if it's possible, take it out. And then we've taken the stem and the pin out of the flow switch. Of course, that gets plugged in the board so you can leave the flow switch in the machine. But this is how we want the machine stripped down for cleaning. And over here, I've put all the parts in line, everything I want taken off of the machine and cleaned. I want that taken to a sink and power wash, scrubbed, brushed, whatever, and get those perfectly clean. I then want to go back, and I made up a hose for this ice machine. I'll put it on the fill tube here. I'll clamp it on and then I'll start the video over again. Next, we're going to clean the evaporators. We're going to scrub them. We're going to simply turn the ice machine onto the ice position here at the toggle switch. We're going to rinse off the evaporator as we brush the evaporator. Start in the back. Take each lateral, brush each of them, rinse all the mung down into the reservoir. See a good force of water here. Rinse it all down into the reservoir. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hose, piece of 1/2 inch water line. I'm going to insert it in the reservoir down in the bottom. And being on the dispenser, there's always a drain up front. In the Coke dispenser, there's always a sink drain. And you got to get this end below the reservoir, and you have to siphon the water out. So I'm going to get it started. I'm going to siphon all the water out of the reservoir down into the front and the sink drain. This will eliminate you having to wring your rag out multiple times. Next thing we're going to do, we've got all the water out of the reservoir. We're going to go ahead and get in the reservoir, and we're going to wipe all the stuff off the bottom of the reservoir with our rag. Scrub the walls as best you can. Bring all this debris up front. And we're just going to have to wring our rag multiple times and get the reservoir perfectly clean. See all the debris we're getting out of there. Wring it out. And again, if you can, scrub the walls. Either take a stainless steel pad. This isn't too bad, but take a stainless steel pad in here and wash the walls of the reservoir tank down and collect all that you can out of the reservoir. Get all of this until it's spotless. I've cleaned a lot of the debris out of the reservoir, but the last few things you want to detail are clean the float out, the float switch out, the walls, scrape them. If there's any ridges of lime in there, scrape that off. Change this hose here, change that out, and then reassemble the ice machine, all the parts that we've cleaned over here, put them back in the machine, at which point then yes, you will acidize the machine if necessary. If it's limed up, then go ahead and acidize the machine, and then cycle it, rinse and cycle. One last thing, this machine here isn't particularly munged up. It's more lime than mung. But after you clean it with the hose here and brush the evaporators, this will be full of debris, stuff you'll need to get out of there. Secondly, it reminds me at the very last, after you cycled or acidize the machine, rinse the machine, cycle the machine, one last time take the distribution tube out, make sure all the holes are clear, that we haven't loosened anything up in the system that will clog these holes again. So clean this out one last time, put back in, turn the machine on, and we should be good to go.